I don't actually have anything in particular to say. I just wanted to record something just to talk to myself. Uh, there are a lot of thoughts in my mind in the past couple, I would say, weeks. So, first thought I think is religion is kind of stupid. In the sense, like, why is it so different everywhere across the board? And why does everyone think that their version of a story, which is unfalsifiable, is all of a sudden truer or better than somebody else's story of the same thing? But I mean, I'm not a debater, I'm not a philosopher. I don't have any facts, I don't have any good ideas related to it. I'm just like thinking about it a lot. And I think, I don't know, we will never know the truth, right? I don't know if truth even exists in understanding that we imagine it in. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we have, I think we all have souls, kind of, right? You should have souls. And I feel like maybe it's because I've been living in India for quite some time now, and I've been exposed to like Indian philosophies and stuff like that, and they kind of teach that the soul is kind of immortal, and like you need to do this, that, and the other to kind of unite your own physical small soul with a big soul. But I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me, you know? And I was just thinking the other day, which is today, which is like, how cool would it be if, imagine like I'm living, and like, let's say I have a soul, for the sake of the argument, and then our soul, like all of us is just kind of for one person, which, not the one person, how do I say? Like, let's say, for example, okay, I live this life in this body, and I have this soul, but then once I die, I live another person's life from the same universe, and then forever like that, until I live everybody's lives, whoever was like living in the universe at all, you know what I mean? Like, it's really interesting if you think about it, because that, I mean, it's not like there is proof of this theory or something. It's just like really interesting how it makes you feel about good and bad, and like doing good things versus doing bad things. Imagine like you're living your life right now in this body, and then whatever you do to other people, eventually you will experience again. Yeah, eventually you'll experience again because you did it to yourself, technically, which is really interesting if you think about it. It's kind of, I don't know, shifts perspective in a way. That's like, oh, I think somebody really sucks, you know, like in my life, somebody like really, really, really sucks, and I really dislike them. But then, many attempts down the line, I will be living their life. It's not like I'll remember it or anything, that I am them and they're me. But it's really, I don't know, makes you think, I guess. I think somebody wrote a book on this or something. Yeah, but again, we don't know shit anyway. I feel like the closest we could get to like understanding what is there, I think, is the concept of soul. I think it makes the most sense to me personally, at least. It's like, I mean, God is definitely there, definitely, 100%. But it's just not in the sense that, oh, some old man is sitting there in the sky, right? Somebody must have created all of this. All right. Yeah. Actually, I thought more about it. I thought I had more to say about it. But anyway. Another thing is that I feel like modern dating is really, 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 really difficult, and we are not imagining it. And it doesn't even have to go to like into like incel category and like all the pills, like red pills and whatever's, the blood pills and the sexual market value, sexual market value, and all of that. I feel it just goes even beyond that. I feel it's just like our human nature on steroids, because of course all the humans be like change, right? Be like difference, because same thing over and over and over again is boring. So like all these dating apps, it's just they're like how do I say? Like they're harvesting our weaknesses in a way, or like preying on our weaknesses even, because it became a little bit too like video game ish. Because if you've been on dating apps, then it's like it's just so many people, just so many people at once, and it's like it feels like it's a limbo over and over and over again, and like it feels like at a certain point it feels like finding something worthwhile, finding something that's like really genuine is almost impossible, it feels like. And I don't think it's a failure, like our failure, like me and you, whoever's user. I don't feel like it's our failure. I feel like it's this machine, like this creation is really exploiting our human weakness, exploiting our human desire for novelty, for connection, for immediate gratification of our desires, right? Because we always wanted like sex, right? As humanity, we always wanted closure. We always wanted connection. We always wanted someone to be there. But now these apps, they're just like, they're offering it to you like one click away. What, are you going to not click? Like, if you don't know better, if you don't know any better, if you didn't have negative experiences yet, what, are you not going to try? You are, right? So like, in part, blaming people, blaming like women, blaming men. I mean, it has rational seed in it, sure, but like, hive mind is too weak to stop playing a game altogether, right? Like, we cannot all just like decide to quit social media, right? We cannot all just decide to quit dating apps, because it's solving a problem that they literally invented, right? So they invented internet and whatever. So it doesn't, like, it incentivizes you to sit at home because you got all the stuff at home. You got all the connection you need at home, right? So then what are you going to go out for? Then if you're not, like, using that muscle of going out, talking to people, meeting random people, engaging in conversation with strangers, if you're not going to do that, then, like, that muscle or whatever is not going to get strong, right? Or, like, if you never did it because you're an iPad kid or you were born after 2000s, like, you never even experienced that firsthand, right? All older generations do is just, like, talk shit at you. And what do they know, right? What does elder generation know anyway, right? Because we are young, we think we know better. We don't listen to them. And what happens is we are all alone. We're sitting by ourselves, and you are in major luck if you are also neurodivergent. If you're neurodivergent, it's like you're right on the money. You're literally like destined to a life of misery and underachievement, I would say. Unless you are like some kind of autistic genius, which will like be hyper focused on his whatever obsession, and it will find a way to make money and connections through that. Yeah, and so if you've never done it, how exactly are you going to start doing it? And like, Our human brains don't like uncertainty, right? We don't like being rejected. We don't like being humiliated. We don't like being, I don't know, looked at weird. So, and again, I don't think all those things were like created it out of a malicious intent, right? Like, oh, we need to fuck society up. No, it's just a byproduct of evolution. I guess it's a byproduct of rapid advancement. And this is what we get now. We get dating apps, which I think create more problem than they do solve it. Because now, yeah, sure, you can have sex, a lot of it too, and you don't even have to like necessarily go out and fish for it like that, you know, bothering random people. You can just literally like do it from your phone, which is really cool. But then you think that it's free, right? You think you're not paying for it with like, I don't know, like your energy or your, I don't know, like you feel like you don't pay for it with your mental energy, but you do. Like connections, I don't think human connections are supposed to be like just like that. I think that things mean something, right? And I feel like you're just wasting kind of, I don't know what exactly you're wasting, but something must be wasted, because I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want just to have sex, right? Because the goalpost keeps shifting. Like, okay, you had it, but then you want real human connection with it, right? Sometimes you do have it, sometimes you don't, and then if you don't, then loop continues. Like again, you're looking for it. Again, you're getting something which is okay, but not the end. And then again, you hoped for the better, and then you're again left with nothing. And then because of all this like sex chasing game or whatever, quick intimacy chasing game, then all these concepts emerge, right? Where men like with their eyes. So if they create a platform when there's a bazillion women which you can all like, so then all the men are gonna like all the women, and women will be in the position of sorting, right? That's gonna create all these wonderful concepts which people in red pill ideology talk about, right? All this upward dating and all that kind of bullshit. Personally, I don't buy red pill at all, and I think all pills I kind of cope. I'm not familiar necessarily with black pill. If I'm not mistaken, it's just that like nothing matters, and that all of it is just kind of a mating ritual or a game or whatever, and you should like exit it and do whatever, which is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, which is incel, right? The pathway to become an incel or something like that. And the other one is red pill, which I think has more, because again, I feel like the incels, again, I'm not necessarily well versed. I did spend my time on 4chan back in the day, or like I would rather say Russian alternative of 4chan, and those concepts were there since the beginning of times, right? That's a forever thing. Oh, we are incels, or like we hate women because we think that they hate us, or like we hate women because they don't give us what we want, and what we want is sex, or like whatever affection, and we think we put such prime importance on these things because we think that is gonna solve our loneliness or something. And it becomes really like it's a really goofy concept if you think about it, because like you don't even want a woman per se, right? You don't even want a companion, right? You want just someone who's gonna bandage your wound or whatever it is, right? Which is really interesting, because no matter what I say, no matter what I talk about, like in these whatever videos or in deep conversations with friends, I really, really, really always end up in this loneliness and childhood trauma scenario. I do not understand how that happens. Okay, like I swear to God, I started with God. This is where I ended up. To me, it makes sense, but I don't understand why I always go back here. Yeah. Anyway, so like I can get insults. I genuinely can understand those guys. You're just so hurt, and you're jaded by that hurt, and you have such polarizing opinions on women as well. But I don't think incels are like malicious per se, right? They're just kind of hurt babies. I mean, it's not like this Anon movement and all, they're harmless. Of course they're not. They're really radical at times. However, I feel like everything just stems from that bizarre hurt. Endless hurt, and then people are not able to realize that like having sex or having, I don't know, whatever, like physical touch and all that kind of stuff, it's not really going to solve an underlying problem, right? Which is ironic, because that's the best we understood so far, and that's the exact argument that's always being used, and there is always like a defense against it. Oh yeah, like a rich person tells that money doesn't matter. I'm not rich, and I think I want money, but I kind of get it that money does not really solve the underlying issue, right? Yeah, you can live well. You'll be able to, like, let's say, tend to your needs in a better way. You'll be able to cover your whatever expenses. You'll be able to meet people, see the world, travel, yada yada, whatever you want to do. Take care of yourself, of your loved ones. But like, at the end of it all, are you going to realize something? Are you going to, like, is it going to really make you less lonely? Is it really going to make you understand what's behind the curtain? You know what I mean? So the same way with attraction and relationships and sex and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like it's cool when you don't have it, because I've lived a very long, how do I say? Like, I've lived a very long part of my life constantly like longing for it, you know what I mean? Like, I needed it because I grew up an extremely low self-esteem kind of guy. Wasn't necessarily popular in school. I was a class clown. That's how I found my way into satiating my need of being seen, because we all are humans and we all need to be seen. So I just became funny, right? When you're funny, at least you're visible and people laugh at you, which you get like pleasure from, which is, again, I did that unconsciously, right? I didn't think, oh, and now I have to become funny, right? It just happened. And I feel like a lot of times humor is like a great tool to cope with hardship, adversities, and stuff like that. But anyway, I digress. So, wasn't popular in school. Never had a girlfriend until I was like 17, 18, which is, I guess, fine. Not fine by current standards, or like, actually it's fine, I think. But like, I'm just saying that, younger people have relationships way sooner now, which is, again, not good or bad. It's just, I think, maybe I'm biased. Maybe that's what I see. Regardless, I thought it's kind of late, because like people around me were dating since like they were 15, you know? Anyway, yeah, so was kind of lonely always. Didn't go out, didn't have a lot of friends apart from school. But again, I don't understand what came first, right? The chicken or the egg? Did I not go out because I didn't have friends? Therefore, there's no reason to go out, just to do what? Like wander around? Like Do what exactly? It's not like everywhere is like a playground and there are like a bunch of people who are dying to meet you. It's not like that, right? So it's like it's that, or is because, you know, I didn't go out, that's why I didn't have friends. I mean, you get what I'm saying, right? It's either one, but like regardless, that happened. Or third option is just I purposefully ignored the idea, or like chose what was more interesting, and more interesting was for me like a computer, an internet connection, and stuff like that. So I really got more interested in that, and I was just kind of sitting and was raised by internet, let's say, because when I was, I think, 13 or 14 already, like internet was widespread. We got mobile internet, and it was pretty rampant from there. And yeah, definitely was raised by internet. And yeah, so I always placed very, very, very big importance on like having sex, having intimate relationships, being in the relationships, having female, let's say, interest, sexual interest, or whatever it is, right? Like being desired or needed or demanded or stuff like that. Which is really ironic because the moment when I was 17, I just went to India to study, and it's not like I went to like a capital or something. I literally went into like a smaller city, which was not... I mean, later I figured out there were people. It's just that, you know, like I'm 17, I'm trying to like realize what the fuck just happened, and there are no cosmopolitan people around me, if you know what I mean. And it's just like it's a story and a half, really. So my kind of a college youth, whatever idea the American college life gives, I always like, damn, you know, I'm missing out big time, because all I did was study medicine, right? All I did in my life there was just study and sit in my room, which is like 4 by 4 square meters, or even smaller. Yeah, maybe 3 by 3. Anyway, so yeah, and it was just always like I always felt like I was lacking. Always felt like I was missing out, and it's like at a certain point, this desire becomes. It's not like you don't. It's not like you want it more. It's now turning into this thing where you feel like that without it you're defective. It's not like you want it now. It's like you think that you're owed this, or you're supposed to have it, and since you didn't, therefore something's wrong with you. And it becomes like an illness, literally, like really like chronic deprivation, maybe like chronic deficiency, where it's like everyone around me, from the people like who I lived with, who I went to school with, people online, like, you know, you look at the world around you, right? Which is like another shortcoming of internet, that you can see everything everywhere, and you can realize how much exactly you're lacking, which is counterproductive again. But that's again the whole point of social media, right? They're showing you what you don't have it, and they're just playing on your weakness by you desiring it, and like they're dangling it in front of you, and like, see, you don't have it. You want to have it? Well, figure it out, you know? Anyway, so yeah. And it's a really bad place to be in, because the moment you kind of deduce yourself, which is partly true and partly echo chamber, when you deduce yourself that you are not necessarily defective, but you are now in a deficiency, which is not even your fault technically, because I mean, come on, if you're in a deprivation chamber, if you're in a fucking jail, how am I, you know, like, how are you gonna get a girlfriend or something? Not to say that where I lived was a jail. It's just like figuratively speaking. So it's like the reason or the motive or the cause is irrelevant in your head. However, it is the culprit, really. But what you deduce is much more toxic to yourself. You deduce that you are unloved. Because it's easier to deduce that if you have been told this story again and again throughout your life, or not necessarily told, but like you've been seeing that happening to you. So yeah, you start telling yourself this story now, basically, that I'm just unlovable. Oh, I'm just undesirable. Oh, nobody wants me. Oh, it's impossible for me to whatever, have a girlfriend, have sex, have a kiss, whatever, right? So it's like it becomes an echo chamber, and that's the most dangerous thing you can be in, because it's literally like it's not even your surroundings now, which are already kind of difficult and already pose challenges to the thing that you want to accomplish. It's now you who you kind of take the flag from it, and you take the mic from it, right? And you start telling it to yourself, yeah, dude, you're just like, something's wrong with you, you know? Yeah, you didn't have anyone. You don't have anyone. Yeah, because you suck, you know? Like, something's wrong with you. You don't know this, you don't know that, you know? You don't know how to talk to women and stuff like that, which is really like interesting, because you start blaming yourself for things which you didn't even cause those things, right? You didn't even how do I say, like, it was not up to you. Then why do you embody that, right? Because all that incel stuff, again, partly, at large, of course, it's circumstances, right? You've been dealt a shit hand, this, that. We get it, right? And then from this whole incel thing, this is where red pill comes from, right? But in my opinion, red pill does one big mistake where it places blame on women, and I do not fuck with that particularly. I don't want to also be like this white knight and defender of women, saying it's men's fault for everything and women are great. Everyone sucks, in my opinion, equally. The problem with red pill is that you place blame on people who did nothing to that, for you to end up there, right? A more healthier or better version of whatever pill it is that, yeah, shit sucked, and it sucks, and it will continue to suck, and it might even suck worse if you will continue doing what you're doing, which is namely avoiding to look at what you have and working with what you have, right? So because red pill is really comfortable because you do not have to take responsibility for yourself, for your future, for your actions, for your, development, really, for your own growth. Because you can say, it's just women, they just date up, I've been born broke. My parents don't have money, and coincidentally, all women care about is money, which is wonderful, because now I can blame women for the fact that I'm broke. Or not even that. I can blame women for the fact that I cannot have a girlfriend because I'm broke. How do you even reach here? How do you want to conflate the two? Like, women and being broke? These are two different issues. What are you in a tank, living under a rock? I don't know where you guys live, and I don't know what kind of situations with women there, but like, I constantly see all kinds of women suffering from rich men, poor men, broke people, men who are taking their money to like lose in gambling. It's not about being broke, really. It's that mindset where you're like, oh, it's you. You made me, like, shit my own pants. Again, and I'm not, and the whole idea is like the whole premise is flawed from the beginning because we're trying to solve a riddle which cannot be solved. It's like, why do you need a relationship, or why do you need a woman in the first place? Because red pill becomes so bizarre that at a certain point it becomes a little too gay. Not that there is anything wrong with it, right? But it's like red pill becomes super gay if you really think about it. Like I have a great friend of mine, and he's just like he's a prisoner of red pill. Like all he cares about is how will it look to other men. Like, can he wear this? Because that might look gay. But like, by whose standards? Oh, by another alpha males. Oh yeah. So, like, okay, and who do you want to get again? Oh, women. Okay, so you want to get women, but all you care about is male opinion. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Oh, so okay. Oh, you want to get jacked. You want to get fuck you money. You want to get a Lambo. Why again? Did any woman tell you that? Oh, no. Okay. Oh, okay. A man told you that's what women want. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. But then, did you ever ask a woman what she wants? Because, I mean, Lambo is a status symbol. Being jacked is partly for you and partly for your own longevity, and maybe a certain percentage of it, sure, is because everyone has eyes and they see you. So it's like you start outsourcing everything about you, right? You start externalizing every single aspect of your own being. And then you're thinking of like what a man is gonna say. Why would you think about what a man is gonna say if your goal is to get a woman, which is again a pursuit in itself? Because again, why exactly do you need a woman? Oh, because you wanna show her off to another man. Shit, what stupid I am. Fuck. Of course. Guys, how about you just skip the rubbish, skip the nonsense, just like start making out between each other, because clearly you're just trying to impress each other. Just drop it. Just drop the act. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. That's why I don't like red pill, because it just blows. It just sucks. But also don't want to be like that, like a person who lies or something by saying that, oh, you just have to improve yourself. I don't think so. Like, why like what stands behind improving yourself? Because like, for example, for me, I'm big on self-improvement because I'm not sure exactly why, but I can tell for a fact that nobody kind of paid attention to me through my childhood. So therefore, like, I was unathletic, mouth breather, asthma. In Russian language, I couldn't pronounce a certain letter properly, right? I was always kind of shy, or like low self-esteem, like all those things which are basically curable or like preventable or like manageable with good parenting and like care and attention for your own kid. But anyway, so like the improvement from those things, improvement in those things comes from the idea of just becoming a better version of myself. Because like, I want to live a long life, even if I will not be successful in whatever field I want to be successful in. At least the least I can give myself is higher odds on a longer life. Because you never know if you're not going to die in a shooting tomorrow, in a calamity, in a natural accident, in a fucking bombing, if a brick falls on you, right? We don't know that. We don't know shit. What we can do is slightly incrementally increase our odds over time if that event if those events are not gonna happen, and I'm just gonna live, which is statistically highly plausible, then instead of dying, like, let's say at 60 with like my teeth falling out and like my face rotting, I could live till like 80 and become a president of the United States like Joe Biden and just lose my shit and handshake the air, right? I could do that. So therefore, I would like to start breathing through my nose, let's say, because mouth breathing, makes you breathe shallowly, which in turn increases your spikes your whatever, heightens your nervous system, and you're always in a state of like alertness, whatever. So like you're not resting, you're resting poorly, you can't sleep. If you can't sleep, then you're not, again, resting. And you're aging faster, yada yada. So like all those things are really for myself. Like I'm trying to just like do myself a solid, right? How Kramer used to say. I'm just trying to do myself a solid by like taking care of myself as other people did not. But in all those manosphere circles, and again, red pill, which we covered and we kind of deduced on the limited grounds that it's bull crap. So the concept of self-improvement there is, again, externalized, right? It's again not for you, but for you to increase your market value, right? Market value, guys, like, come on, guys. Like then it feels like you're just like in a constant pursuit of something you don't even know what. Constant pursuit of validation or something like that, which is you're improving yourself not for the sake of yourself, but for the sake of just getting a woman to again flex it in front of a man. I don't know why I'm focused on red pill so much, even though I don't care for it per se. I do feel like, personally, I care for men a lot, I think. Because men as a concept, it's really interesting if you think about it. Like it's really, really, really interesting, because for the longest time I used to think that they just like, just men suck, But also it's really curious why I used to think that, because I'm a man myself. So then what? I also suck? No, of course I don't suck, because like I'm respectful to women, or like I don't do any, those things, or like, I treat everyone with respect. So then I started to think that it's not really about men and women. It's about just being a good human being, which I'm desperately trying to be. But at the same time, it's hard to argue against the fact that the most amount of like, like sexual assault and stuff like that are being done by men, which is like, I really thought for how do I say? For a long time, I was just really like kind of thinking about this thought. Like, if the world was run by women, would it be any better? Would we really achieve like these universal friendships between states? Would we really like all join our hands in pursuit of something greater, or would women become men? Would power corrupt women to the same degree, where women would also start exhibiting signs which all these terrible quote-unquote men are we sure that it's just men and not not necessarily the burden, but like the byproduct of having power? It's also really interesting how I've seen this video which talks about how like one in three women in UK, like they hate men, like genuinely like hate. And for a long time, again, I'm saying myself like, oh, I was really like I am still. It's not like I hate women now or anything. I'm just saying that I was really on the bandwagon where we hate men, right? We talk negative crap about men. But I was a little bit nuanced in that. I don't like to just say, oh, men suck. No, I think that we need to save young men. And by saving young men, I mean kind of imparting better values, teaching them how to become just better human beings overall, as I used to say before, right? It's not about women or men. It's not about like sex or anything. It's about just being a better, decent human being. Yeah, anyway, so there is this statistic where it's like 1/3 of women in UK from like young women too, like I don't know, I'm not sure, like 16 to 24 or like 18 to 24 or something like that, like really young adults, they just hate men. Some of those women, they have boyfriends. They still hate men. They still hate men though. And that makes me wonder, like, how did that happen? The person in the video made a couple of really great points, which I will not, I think, parrot because I will do a worse job explaining them, because there's a lot of like nuance and context missing. But it's like it's really, because alternatively, only like 7% of young men in like UK are really of a negative perspective about the women. It's like 30% versus 7, which is... So, is there like a... I risk sounding like this red pill guy again, but like, that's not good, right? I'm not saying that like, oh, men are now a target of like, whatever, like unified attack on manhood or something. I'm just wondering, like, there should be consequences to this, right? Like, something is that's not good. This is really adverse. This is really like something. Like a lot of women are not gonna have families. A lot of we're gonna have more insults now, right? Because of this. Because if a woman hates you, then what the fuck are you gonna do, right? As a man. Like, I want to shift the premise now, because like, okay, fine, whatever. Some men are terrible. Like, you know, who isn't sometimes, right? So we have terrible men, sure. Okay, but then those men who are not terrible, they're still being hated by that 1/3 of women. So like, if they didn't do anything bad, how are they going to find a woman? Or not necessarily like a woman. How are they going to, like, let's say, create a family? How are they going to continue their, whatever it is, legacy? Just like, hate is a really strong word too, you know? Hate is really, 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 like, it's genuinely strong. Hate. Like, it's not dislike. It's not non-appreciation. This is like literally, like, this is hate. You know, hate is, you know, hate, right? Anyway, There's absolutely no resolution to what I just said. Absolutely zero conclusions. I just came to words. It's just, I think it's a small digest of those thoughts and ideas and whatever else I had in my head, which I just decided to to just speedball here, because I have no particular clue what about it. I don't know. No idea. Just decided to talk because I just thought I have something to say, which is, I think, one of the best ideas I've had in a really, really long while, maybe my whole life, because I suddenly started to realize that I sometimes have insights during me talking, because I think in real time. So I did not, again, I mean, I'm sure it's visible, but I have never written any script. I have never written any points on what I should say, what I should mention. It's just whatever I have in my head. It just comes out somehow naturally. So I feel like a previous name of this channel was Talking to Myself, which is precisely what I'm doing here, which is really fascinating to me, where I am able to generate new ideas or realize my positions or like realize my opinions on on facts merely by talking about them. Even though like in my head I feel like I have a certain idea on where I stand, but like when I talk, it forces me to kind of externalize it or verbalize it, which solidifies it or something like that, which is really interesting. Yeah.